Our big election's coming up Tuesday. Under no circumstances will I congratulate that son of a bitch.
Crisis after crisis, pandemic after pandemic. We are at a crossroads, torn between one vote, meaning the difference between 4 years of peaceful political gridlock or 4 more years of a seed from the purge election year coming to bitter reality. As America heads to the polls, TSR heads to the most unlikely of places you'll find anyone on this all-important day. The kitchen. Welcome to the Thrift Store Rundown's 2020 Election Day Special. While I can't promise you that I'll deliver live up-to-the-minute Election Day coverage, including state-to-state results as they come into our imaginary newsroom, I can promise you that I'll try to deliver some yellow sunshine to what will certainly be a red, white, and blue bloodbath tonight, through hopefully a bipartisan dual review between Comedy Central and Fox News. And yes, this is the very first time I'm ever reviewing anything related to Fox News.
Fox News! Fox News! Fox News! Turn up again. Here, let me wrap it up for you. This is what's being said. Right now, Obama's the Antichrist and he killed 3 children. Oh my God, did he? You'd believe it, wouldn't you? Hey, Fox News says it.
Just like Pickle Boy, I am incredibly uncomfortable at the mere notion of doing a Fox News review because I can't stand Fox News. But you know what? Since this is the Thrift Store Rundown, we'll try anything once in the name of America on a budget. On the left, not to be confused with left-wing wingnuts, we have The Daily Show, the book, an oral history, and a New York Times best-selling oral history at that, as told by Jon Stewart, whom for 16 years made The Daily Show a daily destination for edge-of-your-seat political humor and satire. The correspondents, staff, and guests, nearly 80 contributors in all, and that includes Trevor Noah, Stewart's successor, who in my opinion is doing a fine job, even from his home office, as he is at the helm of the daily social distancing show on Comedy Central, who, impressively, will be doing live, up-to-the-minute election coverage. Indecision 2020. The author is one of the producers, Chris Smith, and this is published by Grand Central Publishing. On the right, not to be confused with right-wing wingnuts, although you certainly have the liberty to call them that, because you take everything that they say with a grain of salt, like I do, we have the Happy Cookbook from the lesser of all of the evils on Fox News. One of the co-hosts of Fox and Friends, Steve Doocy, along with his wife, Kathy. Believe you me, Steve Doocy is no saint, but I'm going to try to not let that be a factor in my review. I'm going to try to review this cookbook in a, what Fox News would call, fair and balanced way. You know, how Fox News always tries to be fair and balanced in their reporting, always to inevitable failure. Anyway, it's a celebration of the food that makes America smile. And while I nearly threw up at the notion of doing anything Fox News related, it was what was inside stories and recipes that really actually kind of won me over. This is from William Morrow Publishing, and both books were purchased for 50% off the price of $3.99. We'll get started with the lesser of two evils here, and that is The Daily Show, the book. And believe you me, even though I don't watch The Daily Show, I have a deep level of respect for all the correspondents who try to add a lot of humor as inhumanely possible to the world of the Washington Beltway. I'm going to show you 2 photo inserts here. So what does this cover? Well, this covers all of the indecision coverage as through Jon Stewart's point of view, as well as that of all of his comrades in front of him behind the camera. This covers the decisions 2000, 2004, and 2008. In my opinion, one of the most pivotal indecision campaigns that they ever ran, for lack of a better term. This also covers the rally to restore sanity and or fear live from Washington, D.C., outside of the National Mall, the 9/11 terrorist attacks, and Stuart's final show, and how everybody feels about the changing of the guard, so to speak, to Trevor Noah, who once again, in my view, has done a very fine job. Now, I don't watch The Daily Show, and I have no plans to do so anytime soon, but I've seen enough clips on YouTube to know that this definitely deserves its mainstay legacy, and Noah is doing a very good job at maintaining Stuart's legacy, while Stuart is out and about doing films, like the Steve Carell comedy, what was that? Irresistible. Yes, that was it. And if you're anything like today's political pundits, that should be required viewing. It also has the hottie Rose Bryant, you know, who's dating Bobby Cannavale, but that's beside the point. Sometimes our book dreams get answered. This is your printed word moment of Zen. Oh, sorry, John. Covering your eye there. There you go. Your white eye. The complete, uncensored history of the award-winning Daily Show with Jon Stewart, as told by its correspondents, writers, and hosts. For almost 17 years, The Daily Show with Jon Stewart brilliantly redefined the borders between comedy, political satire, and news coverage, while launching talented comedians and garnering 93 Emmys. Those comedians who've earned spin-offs include Samantha Bee, Full Frontal on TBS, Larry Wilmore, The Nightly Show with Larry Wilmore on Comedy Central, and of course, Trevor Noah, Stewart's successor. And John Oliver, Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, HBO. The reigning champion in Variety, Top Series, something like that, in the Primetime Emmys. Now, for the first time, the show's history is chronicled by the players themselves, from legendary host Jon Stewart to the stars and writers, including Samantha Bee, Stephen Colbert, if you're not going to talk about the Colbert Report, he's another one of those spin-off colleagues, John Oliver, Steve Carell, Louis Black, Jessica Williams, John Hodgman, and Larry Wilmore. Plus some of its prominent guests and adversaries, including John and Cindy McCain, Glenn Beck, and Tucker Carlson. From the show's scrappy origins with Craig Kilborn to Jon Stewart's long reign, the point where they had a live studio audience, which was a big plus in its ratings. To Trevor Noah's succession, this candid history revisits the indecisions and Mesopotamias, debates with President Obama and Hillary Clinton, feuds with Bill O'Reilly, another Fox News stalwart, formerly host of Inside Edition, Fox and Donald Trump, as well as the gags, controversies, romances, and moments of zen behind the scenes of America's most groundbreaking show. This book garnered rave reviews from Entertainment Weekly, the Chicago Tribune, the National Book Review, the Washington Book Review, how appropriate, and the New York Times Book Review. Delicious stories. I hate that when people use the word delicious outside of the context of food, but we will get to the Happy Cookbook momentarily. Retail prices, $18.99 in the good old US of A, America, and $24.99 in Canada. That's The Daily Show, the book, and all history. And every single correspondent, every staffer, every guest, and every host, including Kilborn and Noah, have just as much candor in paperback as they do on camera when they're away from their corresponding roles. This book is pure gold. Red, white, and blue, golden gold. Even though I'm not a Daily Show viewer. I'm gonna have to give it all 5 claps. For those who watch The Daily Show, you know. For those who haven't, might suggest picking this up and treating yourself to what is truly an American institution. Now we move on to some more delicious stories, literally, in the Happy Cookbook from the Deuces. Now, it's mainly Steve who's telling the stories in here, and the stories are so genuine and heartfelt in here, and oftentimes very funny, which is surprising. I mean, Fox and Friends is a morning show, and it better have a side of humor to go along with it, or forget about it. I just had to share this with you. A donut flag. Serious thumbnail goals right over here. Only in America. We had to take a picture. And I wish there was a red, white, and blue flag taken here, but you're gonna have to settle for the donut flag, and no, there's no recipe in this book for how to make a donut flag. You know what? You wanna make one? Just get some red, white, and blue donuts, and lay the white and the red donuts in the layers of the American flag, and of course, the blue represents the stars of the American flag. Only if you layer them and carefully angle them to a point where there's some light showing, then you can actually see the stars. This is so expertly well made. How did they do that? And who did that anyway? And hey, we're missing a couple of donuts here. Alright, enough of the donut flag. We're not The Simpsons, although I have some videos on The Simpsons, but Homer Simpson would be ecstatic to see that. Alright, I'll get on with it. We're going to be spending a considerable amount of time talking about the recipes in here, which is why I wanted to get the Daily Show review out of the way first. So, here we go. Kathy's California Cob. So chosen to be highlighted because of the story. Growing up just over the hill from the legendary Brown Derby restaurant in Hollywood, Kathy and her family would go there on special occasions. Glamorous and ritzy, the place was an eye-opener for a 12-year-old girl who was amazed to be sitting near the biggest movie stars in the world. Nobody asked the stars for a selfie back then. There were no such status selfies. There were no such status cell phones back in the day. Instead, Kathy wondered, what are they having for dinner? Many of them had this, the Cobb salad, which makes 5 servings. It was prepared back then by waiters who would make the French dressing tableside and pour and present the salad to in wraps at diners. And guess what? You know who the Juicies met back then, allegedly? Judy Garland. Who's Judy Garland? 3 words for you. Wizard of Oz. And another 2 words for you. Gay Puree. 5 words, 2 names, 1 icon. There you go. Engagement lasagna, which makes 12 servings. Why this? Well, everybody's heard of the term engagement chicken. A roast chicken that tastes so simple yet so delicious that marriage proposals have sprung about as a result. Well, same deal here with this engagement lasagna. One of the first recipes Kathy, a former camp cook, made for Steve when they first started dating. And 5 months later, thanks in huge part to this lasagna, guess what? Engaged. And we all know what came about from that. A very successful marriage, fueled by very delicious home-cooked meals, allegedly. And 3 good kids. Actually, 2 good kids and 1 kid, well, Peter Ducey, following in his father's footsteps as a Fox News field correspondent. Go figure. Special event chili deserves mention too. Why? Because it doesn't matter whether it's the Super Bowl, the Oscars, New Year's Eve, or, in this case, election night. When there's a big special event on TV, Kathy makes this chili. Early in our marriage, we invite a bunch of people over, but because we didn't have a proper dining room table or chairs, everybody would get a bowl and find a seat, often on the floor, and settle in to watch TV. So, you got the ingredients right here. No photo for this. And there are a good amount of recipe photographs in here, but not for every single one. And besides Kathy contributing the recipes, some of Steve's comrades over at Fox News contribute their recipes as well. Martha McCollum, Ainsley Earhart, Sean Hannity of all people, Sarah Huckabee Sanders with her bourbon pecan pie, and I'll sell you that. Even a couple of celebs, if you call Kid Rock's mom a celeb. Yes, Kid Rock's mother of all people contributes a recipe. Even Dr. Oz gets in the groove with 2 recipes of his own. There's even a mention of his daughter Daphne Oz, whom I reviewed a couple of times on TSR with 2 of her books, Relish and The Happy Cook. So you got some serious star power in here. After all, there are more stars in Hollywood, and definitely on the political trail, than there are stars on the American flag. We all know that. And I don't just mean stars as in, stars that we know about through first name basis and household names. I'm talking about the hidden stars. The stars who mean more than just, being a pretty face in the crowd. We're talking about the stars that take action in the name of serving our country with sacrifice, valor, and grace. Like Major Dan Rooney, who contributes his chicken and noodles recipes here. This makes him smile because, well, read this. It is my hope and prayer that by sharing our recipe, which his wife made when he got home and often makes for him, it will help families come together and create a new tradition. Our families represent God's greatest gift in life. May this dish at your dinner table bring you peace, happiness, and a full stomach. God bless America. And God bless you, Dan Major Rooney, for contributing this home-style, homey, comforting, delicious, soul-warming chicken and noodles recipe. Sometimes the best comfort food heals your mind, body, soul, and appetite. Bless you for your service, Major Rooney. And how about this? Hamburger pie, which makes 6 servings. Hamburger pie. Steve's story is quite nice, but there's one other story that I think perfectly encapsulates why hamburger pie deserves to be featured in this video.
This is called Fire Department Hamburger Pie. Man, I learned it many, many years ago in the fire department. And hey! You don't tell me, okay? Not the food, I'm telling people what it is. Would
It's burning or something.
Get your face out of my food!
Okay, talk, hurry, please tell the story.
So anyway, we learned how to make it in the fire department, and it was like a staple. Every week I had to make hamburger pie.
Sorry.
Oh, God. Get away from my... Get away, Eddie.
Dad!
Hey! Get away! I'm done.
Ow!
I'm screwing this puppy. Get away!
Fine!
That angry grandpa. A former Fox News fanatic, but his views changed over time toward the end of his life, and he wasn't so much a fanatic of Fox News as he was before. I mean, did you see the opening for this episode? Anyway, unlike ATP, this was not made with reckless abandon, not too salty, not too spicy. This should be just right. Continuing. The desserts. We have 2 variations on bourbon baked goods. Betty's Bourbon Pumpkin Cheesecake. And who's this Betty? Our friend Martha McCollum's mom, Betty, who passed this recipe down to her daughter after she found it in the early 1980s, although they adapted it over the years as times and tastes changed. Martha says, you can make it the day before Thanksgiving and it sits on the counter looking like an amazing superstar. And you can say, yes, I made it myself. It smells scrumptious and has bourbon in it, which sinks into the crust. Need I say more? It sinks into the crust, although you do not add it to the crust. Hold on a second. I'll be right back. The light in the studio just fell over.
We're waiting.
Come on. There you go. Sorry about that. Even inanimate objects in the studio do not care for Fox News. But you know what? Duty bound. This is suffering for my art. It is a chance I'll have to take. And you know what? Judging by the look of all the recipes in here, as well as the good stories and the amount of star contributors, you know what? It's a chance you might have to take too. You don't have to if you don't want to. Trust me, if you don't like Fox News, this is not going to be for you. One more recipe. Mercifully. Sarah Huckabee Sanders' bourbon chocolate pecan pie, which she made for the press corps one time. Or was it the Peace Corps? Press corps? Peace Corps? I don't know. But what you should know is this. That is a scrumptious looking bourbon pecan pie. So there you go. A celebration of the food that makes America smile. And as much as I don't want to admit it, there's one other thing that actually makes me smile in here, and that is the acknowledgement of the audience. It took us about a year to create our version of this cookbook, and you're holding it. Thank you. How surprising. The Fox and Friends co-host actually thanking his audience for once. And with that, we thank you for reading our cookbook. We wish you the very best as you try your hand at these recipes, which have brought much happiness to our family and friends, and now we hope yours. So many memories, so little time. Sincerely, Steve and Kathy Ducey. Alright, you two. Fair ball game. You've done it. You crafted a cookbook that is delightful. Delightfully tolerable. In all seriousness, you picked this up, and judging if you're a Fox News fan or not, the recipes in here, I know, will make you smile as well. So, for that particular choice, I'm going to give it a fair and appropriate 4. A fair and balanced 4, I should say. Why? Because 4.5 would be a little too much. Again, Steve Ducey is no saint. And, well, I can't give anything related to Fox News a 5 because, well, that's just overkill. So 4 is appropriate. And that will make a grand total of 9 out of 10 claps. What a video this has been, huh? And this is only just the tip of the iceberg within all the weirdness we're going to be feeling today and tonight and quite possibly into the next day. Which is why I want to remind you of this. You see this guy right here? The first head honcho of the United States who so graciously covers our dollar bill? He laid down the foundation for this website, for this channel, for this nation as a whole. Do not let him down. Get out there and make your voice heard. If you can't get outside to the polls, then vote by mail. Do whatever you gotta do. Because the bottom line is this. Once you've done your voting, afterwards, you can go ahead and fill your heart and soul and mind and stomach with pride, knowing that you've done the right thing, no matter who you choose. And it's not my place to tell you who to choose. I hope that I just give you enough motivation to get out there and choose regardless. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, no matter which side you pick, red or blue, remember that around here, we're all united by one ultimate color, and that is green. So I'll catch you in the middle, at the top, on the Thrift side. God bless and save the United States of America.
I want to watch Fox News!
I get that.
Get out of my goddamn house! I'm watching TV!